Hello and welcome to the View from Sibos series, looking at the hot topic at Swift's conference held in Toronto this year. I'm Joy Macknight, Deputy Editor at The Banker, and I'm joined by Simon Eacott, Head of Payments Innovation at NatWest. Thanks so much for joining me today, Simon.
Thank you.
So the big topic, or the big theme at Sibos this year is really around building for the future.
Yeah.
What does that mean for NatWest?
It's a really important topic actually, but first up, it's a really exciting opportunity for us to be there anyway. The annual conference with all the fintechs, the vendors, the banks, it's great to be there, and particularly as NatWest. But building for the future means a lot for us. We are very strong on change. We're looking for the future. We need to embrace that change. We recognise that the whole world is changing fast, and we want to be part of that. We don't want to stand still with the status quo. This is our opportunity to learn what's going on out there and to maybe showcase some of our initiatives as well. So okay. Really good opportunity.
There's a lot of things happening, let's say, in this payment space. How do you think banks can really sort of push forward the whole digitalisation agenda within payments?
Yeah, that's probably the key topic at the moment. I think it's probably important to start off by saying, we've already made as an industry and indeed as a bank a lot of progress in that way. If you look at it by value, something like 98% of payments are already automated rather than manual, but that still does leave us quite a way to go. But in terms of digitalisation, sort of things that we're doing, certainly areas like the mobile application, where the NatWest app has just recently been voted the #1 in 2017 as a banking app. We've got more than 5 million customers on it, and increasing volumes of payments going through it, and we continue to update that as we go forward. We've got a number of other initiatives going on as well. If you walk into any of our branches, for example, we'll have a tech expert on hand in every branch, recognising that whilst a lot of people are very tech savvy, there's also a lot of people that find it perhaps a little bit daunting. So we're on hand to help them get online, to use their mobile app, and to give them the confidence that it is safe and secure, and indeed is going to add value to their lives. So a lot going on, and more to come in this space.
Yeah, again, the payment space is changing quite dramatically. Obviously, the Payment Services Directive 2 will come into play in January.
Indeed.
What do you think the payments industry will look like after PSD2?
It's a key question. Probably a little bit early to be too prescriptive on it. It's sort of brother in arms in the UK. Open banking, is equally a part of that. Probably important to say at the outset that as one of the CMA 9 banks, we will be compliant from January. And whilst that is, it's a compliance issue, it also gives us a lot of opportunities going forward as well. If you look across the industry, there are so many potential partnerships and collaborations that the future is not so much uncertain, but is certainly very fertile in terms of the way it might go. I think banks in generally are they going to be there as third-party providers? Customers are going to be consensually sharing their data. That's going to give much more opportunities to banks to consolidate and provide information and payments capability across a whole range of customers' bank accounts, and certainly I would expect all the banks to be able to do that. But of more interest, I think, is the way we develop further in the API space outside of the core requirements for PSD2 and for open banking, working with other providers to develop more end-to-end and solutions for customers that are more meaningful in their everyday lives.
When you think about the financial services industry in general, obviously there's a lot of fintech, financial technology startup activity happening.
Yeah.
How is NatWest really engaging with that community?
Very actively. I mean, a very big community, clearly, ranging from some fairly sizable firms to those startups. We've got a scouting network around the world, Silicon Valley and Israel, as well as the UK, where we've picked up some great ideas and some really creative, innovative ideas. Just a couple of examples. We've recently launched a thing called ESME, which is an online lending platform where we've developed that independently as an independent brand, which aims to give customers loans, unsecured loans up to 150,000 in a matter of hours, rather than days from the point of application through to the money being in their account. Another example would be ClearSpend, which we've developed with a Silicon Valley startup, which is aimed at giving small businesses and large businesses much more control, visibility, transparency over the spending of their staff in terms of on their commercial card. And again, both of these are moving through pilot now. The feedback has been very good. But again, it's starting to transform the way that we think and work with those fintechs. That's just a couple of examples, but clearly there will be more to come.
You know, you talk about change, about being more agile, about releasing things much more quickly. I think that also, you know, needs a culture change within an organization. I know NatWest is doing some hackathons. How is that really helping with change management within the bank?
Yeah, it's certainly having an impact, and it's part of the way we operate. I think the days of an organisation having the original idea and then moving it through design, solution, build, test, end to end, and doing all that in-house are not necessarily long gone, but are certainly starting to wane. And Hackathons gives the opportunity to get a lot of very, very talented people across a range of disciplines together and really challenge the way of thinking. Creation and failure all in the same environment helps us to build. We've run about 10 so far in various locations, from India, Dublin, and the UK. Had about we've had a lot of people involved in those, and we've got some great ideas. It's part of the product innovation agenda, but it's not the totality. But we've had some really good ideas coming out of that, some of which we are pursuing very seriously. And again, at the appropriate point, we will be making them more visible to the outside world.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming in, Simon.
Pleasure.